Cinematic, baby. Alright boys, first things first, we have to get some room towards the manifold, or if that's what you want to call it, in there.
Is it
There's four bolts there, so we gotta find access to that. So we're gonna have to remove the downpipe, which we just installed like a month ago. We're gonna have to remove the intake, the inlets. I'm gonna see if I can remove this whole thing. So get you a long one, long extension. Here, I'm gonna flip this around. You see it right there. So now you break it. Well, don't break it, but you know. I've had this magnet for like 2 or 3 years now, from when I had the Accord. Anyway, grab a magnet, put it in here. Nope, it's not loose yet, so I have to loosen it some more. You can actually use the magnet to turn it. There you go. There's the first one from the inlet. That's a 12mm. For the one on the outside, I kind of had to switch it up to the small 1/4 inch ratchet and a small or a short socket. So make sure you get some room in there and get some lip. Watch your knuckles. There you go. Okay, and then just turn it by hand. There's the second one. Okay, so now you can see this is loose there. Obviously you still have a lot of connections around it. We're going to take this one off as well. This one right here. Alright, so that's going to work for this. And then we have another one down here. Right there. I skipped this step, but I'm trying to disconnect everything from this that we'll have to take off, so this can come off by itself. So this line going to the bypass valve, this one right here, you got to take it off. So it's a little tiny clamp. I used these little needle nose, stuck it in there, open up the plier, pull it up, and then pull up the line. You gotta give it a little bit of pressure to get it off. So now that that's loose, I think that's about everything here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to disconnect it from the intake, which should be good to go from here. Alright guys, so this is a very outsize. It's a 5.5mm. Yeah, 5.5. So now that that's loose, you should be able to pry that open over there.
Right.
What the hell are you doing, dude?
I haven't ridden the bike.
Okay.
Santa Cruz.
Yeah, the Santa Cruz is pretty tight. So that's free. So now we're going to take off the coolant line brackets. 2 10mm right there. Okay, so now these are loose. Right? So now you can pull this off. Should be able to easily, I think. It's loose there. Now there is a gasket somewhere in here between the turbo. You see it there? Make sure you don't lose that. Okay, there we go. It was just hanging on to these little lines over here. But there's that. Kind of a cool situation actually. And we can take a second to admire this stockness. So we're gonna need to take off this sucker. So there's bolts here, over there. If you watch my downpipe video, you'll know what to do with that. But everything's gonna be. I really don't want to make a mess with the coolant lines, but there's no other way. You're gonna have to take off the coolant lines and then the oil line as well. I feel kind of bad because we literally just can put this shit back together when I put the downpipe in there.
You talking to me?
Yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but you know, I just feel bad that we are taking it apart already. Once you start loosening this, you have to unclip it from here, because otherwise you're going to be twisting the wire and you don't want that. So back here there's a button you push right there. So push a button and pull this up and slide this sucker down. Alright, so you're going to have this in here, right? I'm going to slide it back in here just to show you guys, because I struggled with it for a little bit, even though I already taken it out. Okay, so it's in right now. So if you look in there, there's a little tab, this one right here. So you don't pull it up, you push it down. So you push it down and then you pull this back. Let's see if I can get this over there. So push it down. Push it down and away. Alright, now you can take the O2 sensor out. The primary O2 sensor. So there we go. And you have one more bolt here. So there's one here, one there, and then one right there. So we gotta take that one out still. So now we see the beautiful RV6 downpipe. So we're gonna go around, there's 4 of them, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Once you get that cleared away, hopefully, I don't think it'll be enough. Probably undo this line from here, the coolant line, and then the oil feed line, and then there's feed, or lines in the bottom of the turbo as well. Oh, and don't forget to disconnect your wastegate. You do that before you go any further. There's a clip on it, and you just pull it down, just like that. So now everything should be pretty much free from there. Do a trusty 14mm wrench, preferably one that has a lot of leverage on it, and then fuck, I'm so afraid of these. I'm gonna spray some WD. This is your friend, guys. Alright, put this right in here. Or follow me over here. Not that close, bro.
Screen closer.
We're going to grab the 10mm. Hopefully this is enough. And we're going to go into the intercooler pipe. So that's a 10mm hose clamp right there. Okay, so now the hose clamp is off. So this way you don't have to take off this pipe. You can just leave it attached to the turbo because it's going to be a lot easier to switch that out when it sits out of the car. So now all we have connecting the turbo to the engine, obviously, are these 4 bolts here. Well, 2 nuts and 4 bolts. Or 2 nuts and 2 bolts, sorry. And then the coolant. And you're going to have some coolant spraying. That's why we raised the car. And we're going to put this little catch tray here. So it catches all the bad stuff. So this clamp, take it off, screw it down.
Or did it stop?
That is. Yep, that's a 14.
You know you got a badass Honda though when you have a bolt for your
Right?
a hex head to take off your oil cap.
Those are pretty cool, actually. Okay, on these guys, make sure you don't lose. You want to close it over here? Make sure you don't lose the little banjo or the little crush washer bracketry thing, because you'll definitely need that. That's for banjo bolt, really important, so don't lose that. Don't lose it. And then this. God damn it. Oh, that's hot. This thing. Don't lose that. Okay? Okay, so now your oil feed line is free from that. We're gonna have to. Right, so these two, 10mm. Right here.
The elusive. Ain't that a 14?
And now you'll see the cool's gonna start pouring out, which we already prepared for. You hear that?
Here.
Ooh. Skeet, skeet.
It's a boy.
Okay, now you want to lift this up high so you don't keep losing fluid, you know? That's why I have it lifted on this side more than the other side. So we're gonna go over here. I'm just gonna leave it on top of the wastegate for now. Okay, so this other one over here, I'll show you guys. There is a coolant return on the bottom of the turbo. So now all the coolant lines and the oil lines are disconnected from the turbo in one way or another, and so is the intercooler pipe. So now we're gonna go here with a 14 mil, and we're gonna crank her open in the manifold. When I say crank her open, I mean like it shouldn't take that much. There we go. Okay. So once you get those bottom two, then you can just hand loosen it. Yo, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
How you doing?
We're chilling. How you guys doing?
Haven't seen you in a long time, bro.
I know.
You're all about that silly life now.
Nah, I hate it, low-key.
All right, so we actually had to get underneath the car and remove the pan. And look at all that mess. So we're gonna have to take off the downpipe from the bracket so that we have some sort of flexibility. So that's a 14 mil right here, and there's another 14 mil right there. So take those two off, and it should give you a little bit of wiggle room, and maybe that's enough to get the turbo off. All right, so prying off the downpipe from the turbo.
No.
All these bolts are
I
off.
haven't heard nothing from Tegner about
And
marking.
we have the turbo bracket. It's called the turbo stay bracket right there, that little bolt. It's a 14 or a 15 mil, I think. We gotta take that off. So get you the 3/8 ratchet again and get a big old extension. And it's a 14 mil. Get it under the turbo so you can get it going. Shit. Who the hell is that, dude?
It's some Amazon guy.
Oh, that's not.
Well, bro, I'm happy that you're all by yourself. That frees up the path for me, you know what I'm saying?
Oh. Coming on next on Love Connection.
They're tedious for sure.
Alright.
See, now it wobbles more.
Now it's wobble-de-wobble.
Got the wobble. Wobble-de-wobble.
Don't smash my fingers.
Make sure we don't lose that oil line. I'll give it a good
Hold on. Go ahead.
little pull.
It's not even that thing.
No, it's the vacuum line that's on the bottom of the bypass valve. Or the turbo, actually. Oh, fuck me. Hey, can you hold this turbo, please? It's kind of heavy. Oh. There's the tiny little guy. Which actually for a stock turbo, it's not that bad, huh?
You should put that on the ruckus.
That'd be cool.
Fucking blow it up. Alright, so we're now gonna put everything over from this turbo onto this sucker. Ta-da!
What did they have us in the morning elementary school? Crisscross applesauce.
This bad boy.
That looks pretty hefty, man.
I hope so. And then we got some. I already have one of those. Some safety wire for the titanium nuts. Wait, what? Titanium nuts? What? I get titanium nuts? Oh shit, son!
One of a kind.
Damn, those are sick.
Those are fresh.
Damn, those are nice, dude. Dude, look at that. The stay bracket. Some legit turbo lines. The oil feed line.
Stainless.
God damn, stainless, yeah, all the gaskets. Yep, I called it. I got all the gaskets. And then the coolant lines.
And represents.
Some JDM shit right there, son.
That looks really nice.
Dude, this is really nice.
That's a really nice kit.
And this is coolant line reducer for the Accord, which we don't have, so we don't need this one. But it's nice to have. Damn, dude, this is sick.
Oh, here's the most important part.
Yes.
$2,000 sticker.
I have 3 of those already, but I need to find a place for it. Oh, damn, that is dope.
No, that is dope. Yep.
Dude, this is sick. This is exciting, dude.
Oh my dude, I got the most legit meth kit you can have. I see that you're still getting tuned by Kevin.
Yes, sir.
How's Kevin?
He's actually sending me a map for this.
Is he?
Base map to start. God, look
Dude,
at
that
dude.
guy's a freaking genius.
Yeah, he's really smart, man. He my boy.
Clean.
That sound from Fast and the Furious would be nice right now.
Oh.
Get time to whistle at her. Hey, girl, you make my whistle blow.
You know the whistle song?
I bet you that'll be on the video.
Big boy. My boy's thick. And you gotta make sure you remember which way the nipple goes. Nipples are very important, guys.
Giggity.
Nipples. Take this fucker off. Remember how it goes. Oh, just let me get this turbo on, dude. We'll see. Oh, it's a 3. So T3, or not T, but just a 3mm. For this, you have to transfer over the wastegate. This is the wastegate solenoid, or the wastegate actuator, I guess, electronic. So, gotta get this caught up and out. Okay, don't forget how this goes. Pointing down. Careful with these because they break easily. Realistic picture here. Yeah. Quite a difference. It's so much bigger.
Way bigger.
Get a picture of this. Alright boys, so grab the old, or the J pipe from the, that's what I call it at least, the intercooler pipe from the old turbo, and you're going to swap it over here. Make sure you clean off the surface, and then you're going to use a brand new one of these gaskets that come in the packet from the hardware kit. So put it on there and then bolt it down with the 12mm bolts. Look how fancy this is, man. Real A&N fittings in here. Look at that. That's some race car shit right there. Pardon my language, but man, that is really stepping it up. This is for the cooling line, so we're gonna go here. What is this? Oh, this is the RET turbocharger. So it tells you what it's for. Obviously, the new cord's not, or the new Type R is not there yet, but tells you all the contents, and that's how it goes. So all these cooling lines are gonna go there. So let me grab those. These fuckers right here.
I went to Texas Roadhouse a few weekends ago and I ate myself a nice big steak. No issue at all. Just because I was drinking plenty of water. But then there's days where I go get a cheeseburger from.
You don't want to tighten these down until you're sure that they're going to stay in the right place. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be something like this. So it frees up from the inlet and it clears away from the wastegate actuator. Alright boys, so switch out your gaskets. Sorry guys.
He's a super.
Switch, put the new fitting in there.
I'm gonna ask him how Mama heard I do just
It's
pull
a
it.
10mm
I
bolt.
really don't know how to pull an engine out yet.
You're gonna take the gasket from the old fitting and you're gonna set it there in place. And then the oil drain, you'll just be sure to have the clamp ready. Put the clamp back on the intercooler pipe and you're ready to put it back in. Alright boys, there it is. It's in. That's what she said. Now we gotta bolt up everything. Intercooler pipe, run the coolant hoses so here to the hard pipes, hook up the oil line back there, and then hook up the downpipe to it. There you go. So tighten it there, make sure there's no kink on it. I know you guys like kinky stuff, but this is not one you want to do kinky on.
Stop, Joe. You're making
You
it worse.
don't want that. You don't want that lube to not be kinky.
And then this is a 14, so tighten that down. Make sure it stays away from in the path of the nut or the bolt, whatever. You should fucking. Oil line is tightened up, as well as the bottom one back there, and then coolant lines are all tight. These are -10 fittings, so you can use a -10 AN wrench. If you don't have one, you can just use an adjustable crescent wrench, but it should look like this. I put the line back on there, so nuts in there. I don't know if I want to use better clamps on that. We'll see. If we have a leak on there, then I know what to do. That vacuum line's back in there and the bypass valve, as well as that one down there. Let's see if I can get you right there. That one's back in place. So both of those vacuum lines are back in with the clamps on there. Now we have to, oh, and then this one's back in place. That's this one right here. So it goes back there, and that'll stay like that on this side, and that's what's going to bolt up to the inlets. So everything's in place, everything's tightened up. The only thing I have not done is hook up the oil return line. So that line back there I have not tightened up yet, so I got to run that rubber hose back there to it and put the clamp on it. The wastegate's in, everything's tight in there. The cotter pin's back in there. We need to plug the wastegate in, throw the inlet back in its place, connect it back to the intake, and that is all. Or put the heat shield back on, the O2 sensor, plug it back in, and we're done. We can go back on the road. We are going to have to top off in coolant. As you see, it's pretty wet. We did leak a lot. Thanks to Noah and Fabian for coming over and hanging out and giving me a hand in the little areas that I needed. All right, guys, it's the next day, and I am beat. I am too old for this. You know what I'm saying? I ended up using the titanium studs on these two. I don't have a stud driver, so I just double nutted it and drove it in as much as I could. Ended up reusing the 2 bolts, that one and then the bottom one, and then these 2 back in place as well. Everything's connected, everything's lined up. I just need to put the O2 sensor back on with the heat shield, put the inlet back on there. Just wanted to show you guys how pretty this is. I think the coolant lines are one of my favorites. They're labeled RV6 as well, so they're pretty cool. But AN fitting lines, routed correctly down there, and then up here. And this obviously is held by the inlet once we put it in there. But look how pretty it is, man. First of all, the branding, that's nice. And then, oh, look at that wheel. Take a picture from over here. There we go. Look at that wheel, man. That's pretty. Perfectly normal. You're going to be burning off all the residue from the coolant, your oil in your hands, and so forth. Just make sure there's no leaks. Go around, look very closely. There's nothing leaking anywhere, no oil, no coolant. Make sure everything's tightened up, everything where it needs to go. Look over really good. I'm going to spray this off once I get to a car wash. I'm going to put some coolant in there, make sure it's all topped off. And that's it, guys. Ready to dance and log.